Welcome to Photo Finds. I'm your host Kevin, and this week we are starting at the Magic Kingdom. We are looking at Monorail Orange, which is one of 3 monorails which have been converted to run on an automated fashion. Now, they are not being run in an automated fashion, so the conversion has been done, but the pilots are still piloting the monorails for the time being. This will roll out to the other monorails over time, and although the system has been tested, for the moment they're still driving them with actual pilots. Once the system comes online, the pilots will stay in the monorail vehicles and will be there to assist if the computer encounters any problems, but the monorails will be dispatched just like any other ride vehicle you might know at Walt Disney World. We are looking from the monorail out to the expansion of the TTC bus zone. This is the bus zone for the Magic Kingdom coming from the TTC, and you can see that they've got the roofs now in place for this bus loop expansion. This is a shot of some of the new Tiki room merchandise that came from California, has trickled out to Walt Disney World. You can see that some of these figurines, these are $99 figurines of Uti and Pele, are for sale. Some of the mugs in the background as well. And they've got some pottery, some shag artwork. This is one of them there. And different kinds of really interesting park-specific things. That was neat to see, so I had to take as many pictures as I could. Over at Epcot, temporarily here, to have a look at the area around Illuminations just before Illumination starts, and you will notice that they've got a kind of a different pattern to how they're having the traffic flow through. Previously, on the water side, the crowd would go out to the end and then just have a little narrow strip toward the back of the walkway for viewing. Now what they're doing is putting the walkway into the middle of the entire space and allowing crowds to form on this side of the water side as well as this side, but keeping the middle part open for walking. Back over to the Magic Kingdom and the Art of Disney. This caught my eye, the Tiki Room figurine. This was, I think, $40. And we are at the Carousel of Progress to take note of this little detail. So these scrims have always been here, and normally speaking, when the scrims are not the center of attention, when we're out watching the rest of the show over here, you can't see through the scrims. Now, either the lights are new or the scrims have been replaced with something more see-through, or both perhaps, but you can see through the scrims now. You can see the character doing her thing in the background, even though it's not been turned on yet. Now, when it does, and here's another shot of this kind of the same action. So here's the turntable moving while the action is happening out in the main screen over here, and you can see right through the scrims. Now, what this results in is once the scrim does come on and the lights inside are on, you can see quite well what's going on inside there. So maybe their intention was to make it more visible when the scrims are calling your attention over to that side. And this is not new. In fact, it's not even new for me, but I was here that day and thought I would take a picture and show the Sorcerer Mickey from Fantasia, kind of done as an abstract artwork in the background here of this shot of Carousel of Progress, in case you haven't seen that one before. Not a new shot. This is a view of Monsters Incorporated Laugh Floor, which does have Fast Pass Plus. Right across the way, however, Stitch's Great Escape does not appear to have a sign for Fast Pass Plus. So maybe not every line will sport Fast Pass Plus after the conversion. Over to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, where I have not been back in some weeks. It looks like the Barnabas photo, this is the portrait of Imagineer Tony Baxter, has been moved into an area that is out of reach of the guests, so now everyone can see it. And there are other things added to the line, such as this tribute to the Apple Dumpling Gang. And this is actually the area where the Tony Baxter picture was originally, has shown up in the same kind of turnaround right here. So you see mentions of the same shafts and galleries that we see in another picture elsewhere in the queue line, and some of these are apparently inside jokes and others are not. I'm not sure what all of those numbers mean. There's too many of them to be positive. There are, however, if you look through these documents, some inside jokes in them. So I'll zoom in on one of them in particular. It's the Tony Baxter tribute, as you can see, and July 17th, the opening date of Disneyland. Also honored in that same diagram. So don't know what all of the inside jokes are there. Look forward to deciphering them going forward. So this was previously not visible. You couldn't see into this little box of explosives. Now they've got a little set dressing inside there. The Western River Expedition, one of the many tributes in this area, Western River being a ride that was going to be proposed for this area of Big Thunder Mountain Railroad before Big Thunder itself was chosen. Now this is not a new tribute, but this was part of the original rollout of the interactive queue, and they've added things to the interactive queue. I'm not sure all these boxes were here in the interactive queue originally, to make it more about placemaking. So they've got the interactive pieces now functioning, so you could crank up your device here and then explode things out on the mountaintop. What's not so obvious, and a lot of people didn't notice it, is you have to push up first before you plunge down. And so a lot of people didn't know how exactly to trigger the explosion. So that's another piece there. Now these periscopes around the corner from there have been there for some time. I don't know that I've looked in them. You can kind of see a projection, I guess, show of someone looking back at you. And then this little log at the top here, that has been added since the last time I was here as well. Now this diagram of the shafts at Big Thunder Mountain has been there, but these little signs over to the side have not. So I'm pretty sure Landrum was a Disney executive. I didn't look up the details before making this recording, however, so that'll be something I'm sure we'll hear about in the comments afterwards. And then the Can-Can Girls up at the top. And Bison, perhaps a Western River Expedition reference, since Bison were meant to be part of that ride. Now this area just beyond there had previously had these kind of turning wheels without any purpose to them. Now you see that there are giant wheels back here. It's not exactly a fan. What they're meant to do is turn the light on, and the light flickers on and illuminates the character which is spinning in a calliope-like fashion behind it here. So what you have is crude animation that results when you're turning the light on by spinning your wheel down in front of it. A little bit of theming added since the last time I was there. I believe it says Big Thunder Mining Company. And then these cages have been here for some time. I don't know that they had names originally. They have things like Ex-Benedict, Chauncey, Edith, Clyde, perhaps a reference to that one bird in front of the Tiki room, and Rosita, which I thought was incredibly cute. And remember the Tiki room? I wonder what happened to Rosita. Well, apparently she became a canary mine at Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Miss Claudette, is that one of the Tiki room names? Not entirely sure. Vladimir, there's Chauncey from another angle. And then here, Sir Rutherford. And that gets us to the end of the cube. Now, the same charging and then plunger act is part of the queue line here for those with wheelchairs, and so that they can have a little bit of an interactive experience when waiting in their queue as well. This caught my eye over at the nearby Pecos Bill, so they've got not only a visual menu that I've seen before, but on the back side of it they point to the toppings bar, so they're really kind of playing up the value of the toppings bar in their menu. The scrims have come down around the refreshments here where the funnel cakes are sold. This is the Sleepy Hollow refreshments, and everything looks great. Nothing has changed, however. It's just a refreshment. Over at the Barnstormer, and I saw this in a couple of other places at Storybook Circus, this blue hat appears to be a new part of the costume. I don't recall it from when the circus first opened up. A look at the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster from one angle. We'll see a couple different angles in a few moments. This is the Eric's Village there, going to be across the way from Little Mermaid. And then what the blending zone over from the village, it's over to our left there toward the right and back into the mountain itself. There's another view of that coaster. And as you can see, it's a lot of hard angles and sweeping turns and a lot of banks in this ride. And you'll be banking to the left and right quite a lot. Now looking here, this is one of the big drops right here. You can see some timber-shaped and designed elements that are still concrete at the moment. One assumes they will be colored later on. Another couple of views of the coaster in action. Those twisting turns right in front of the windows there. A little bit more of it there. And then from the other angle, this is over by the Dumbo side, some more of the track almost kind of interweaving with each other there. Now, unfortunately, these viewing areas are taking a beating. You can see that they're starting to peel. There's some more of the outside exterior work of the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster. The Princess Fairy Tale Hall has long had these walls here, although I think these walls have kind of crept outwards, out towards the carousel a little bit more. There's a tighter space than it used to be, so maybe they're working on that front facade. Over at Pooh's ride, the Mini Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, this gopher pulling thing is out of commission. In fact, there's no rope to pull on whatsoever. They've got a trash can in the way. I don't know if that's temporary or permanent. Mad Tea Party has had a refurbishment recently, and I don't recall whether this circle-shaped well was here before or what it's there doing now, only that it's roped off even though the ride has reopened. On our way out, we're going to have a look at the Grand Floridian Villas. That's the DVC property coming. You can see some more design elements taking shape from one angle on the Wedding Pavilion side. This is something that's been there for a couple of weeks. I haven't taken a picture of it. This is a parking lot in Epcot. I guess this is I for Imagine. And this is showing the way for row 47. Actually, that's just an arrow for the row 47. So we're in the middle of the row. They didn't always have numbers here pointing to which row you just came from, which I think is a good idea. It gets people's attention on which row they're in. Switching over to Universal, where parking is now $16 a day. I'm not sure how long that has been the case. Disney is now $15. And the first shop in Universal has got a new pattern to its checkout stands. It used to be over in the back here. We're looking also at Transformers, where the line now includes a rooftop over the switchbacks outside of the line. We upgraded to our Premier Pass. We thought this was just a fabulous opportunity to get such things as the free waters, the Halloween Horror Night ticket included, valet parking, lots of benefits to the Universal Premier Pass, and we just could not put it off any longer, especially with Diagon Alley coming. So here's a couple of views of the upcoming Harry Potter expansion, really kind of dominating the skyline in this corner of the park. And looking across the way to the Simpsons expansion, some brickwork here, and the Kodos spinner over on this side here. Another view of that same area. Still several things under construction in the Simpsons zone. I don't recall this Sledge Homer game here before over on the side opposite the giant Krusty, nor do I recall seeing all the Simpsons merchandise, especially this view of the Krusty Land Park map, kind of stamped onto a t-shirt. This is just some more shots of the food court. Now, it is a food court inside, not individual restaurants, although I think they are very well themed from the outside, and so we got to give credit for that, as well as this themed bathroom over in the corner. The last time I was over here, which was admittedly was some time ago, this fake backdrop to show forced perspective was showing things like the space shuttle, I think. So I'm not sure how long this has been the Hollywood Vista. It might be very new, it might be very old, not really sure. A couple of new things on the store shelves in Universal. These are Vinylmation type critters. They're of course just called vinyls, since this is Universal, and they have E.T. and Betty Boop and Minions. Very tempted to buy the Minions. You can see that what they are down below. They're I think about $13 each, or two for $20 for these minis. And they are made out of vinyl, just like the Disney ones are. And then here's the Mardi Gras guy. Or you can find Minions for, I think they were $5.95 each, and just a PVC plastic kind of thing over at the Minion ride itself, as well as a place to take your photo with the Minions, since it is Despicable Me's big weekend this last weekend. Now, we also stopped at a place called Rebounders. This is a trampoline arena, as you can see, and this is one of two in the area. Airheads is the other one in the Orlando area. They give you shoes to jump on, and here's what the facility looks like from a distance. Now, I'm not sure how obvious it is from the sign here, but you pay about $13, $14 for an hour, or $10 for half an hour, that sort of thing. And it is a real workout. So in addition to, once you get past the arcade and the game rooms and so forth, you'll see they have a spot where you can jump and do basketball slams. They have these party rooms in the back that are somewhat well themed. And this is what the main arenas look like, these giant places where you can just bounce around, bounce off the walls, do tricks. And then this one, which is a unique feature, they didn't have that at Airheads, is a foam pit. So you can bounce your way into a giant pit of foam blocks, really. It's kind of hard to get yourself out of there once you get in there, but it's quite fun, a place to do flips if you're otherwise not inclined to do flips on the actual trampolines themselves. So not too far from that is this Giraffa's, which is a somewhat new fast food eatery from Brazil. And as you can see, they advertise Brazilian steaks and burgers with a giraffe theme. Not sure where the giraffe theme comes from. It's a fast casual service, something you might expect that's similar to Chipotle, I guess, would be the closest analogy to what the service is like. They cook up your food and bring it to your table afterwards. You get such things as bacon and eggs on your burger, and that was a filet mignon burger you were looking at there. That's the kids' steak tips meal, $5 for that one. And the burgers come in not just all shapes and sizes, but they have different sauces. This right here is a stroganoff with filet as well. And then such things as the entree itself. So there's a steak entree there, and the chimichurri sauce over on the side. The entrees are just a little bit expensive, perhaps, for what you get, but it's interesting flavors and different from most fast food that you're perhaps used to in the area. That does it for this week. For Photo Finds, we thank you as always for your attention, and we'll catch you next time.